Sport is the beginning of all, said the Commonwealth Games motto as Birmingham hosted thousands of athletes for this year's Games. However, let's actually go to the beginning of all, for the first ever edition of the Commonwealth Games, and try to track the best performing Commonwealth nation of all time. Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this video, we will go over the first team which broke 1,000 goals at the Games. Firstly, Australia creates history in the Commonwealth Games. The Commonwealth Games have seen some fantastic memories, from small nations winning as the underdog to top teams bulldozing their way through all competitions. Of course, the nature of the competition is such that one team must be superior to the others and come out as winners. Over time though, the amount of investment into nations and their sports, the quality of training infrastructure available, the policy emphasis by the country, and the natural talent coming out of a country all accumulate into some teams being exponentially better than others over a long period of time. That's exactly what we see in the Commonwealth Games today. There are several countries competing for the top prize. They compete to be the best team at the event. However, if we look at the history of the Games themselves, we start to realize that hardly any team can really compete against Australia when it comes to overall honors. The Australian national team has by far been the strongest team to compete in the Commonwealth Games, and this achievement only solidifies them as one of, if not the greatest nation to compete in the Commonwealth Games. What is this record that they've achieved, you ask? Well, Australia is now the first nation to collect 1,000 gold medals at the Commonwealth Games. They have had some really tough defeats in the current edition of the Games, as they lost to England in the women's hockey game and had to hear "hockey's coming home" from the English supporters in Birmingham. But it was all a part of the past, as it was Australia having the last laugh, with their netball team winning against Jamaica and achieving the unthinkable by becoming the first nation to achieve 1,000 gold medals, dating all the way back to 1930, and thus followed the celebrations. The emotions were certainly running high, and there were a lot of tears as the team finally achieved what they were struggling with for some time. They had lost to England in netball at the Gold Coast, and a member of the team stated that they even felt some PTSD in the final moments of the game. However, it was all worth it in the end, as the team beat Jamaica 51-55 to finally claim gold. What's interesting is that Australia had actually lost to Jamaica in the final pool game. This win had given Team Jamaica the momentum to beat formidable foes on their way to a historic win at the Commonwealth Games. But Australia learned from their mistakes, and as they reached the final and locked heads with a similar foe, they made sure to finish the job this time and win. The team has had a good tournament, topping the medal charts and recently beating the Indian team in women's T20 cricket to win gold there too. It's a performance that indicates quality in the team's infrastructure and an overall emphasis on sport. Next up, England amongst the high performers too. As expected, England and their delegation were right up there, competing with the very best when it came to this year's Commonwealth Games. With Australia finishing first on the Commonwealth Games table, one may assume that England had a disappointing performance overall, as they have shown to be Commonwealth rivals over the past few years. But that couldn't be further from the truth. While it's true that England would have wanted to be number one in the standings and pip their rivals for the first spot, we must give the nation credit where it's due. They've just surpassed their previous Commonwealth Games record, reaching a nation best of 176 medals. Their previous record was 174 and was achieved in Glasgow 2014. This means that England are just now coming off the best Commonwealth Games medal tally of their history. By the start of the final day, nobody was sure whether England would be able to achieve this monstrous feat. They had entered the final day with a total of 166 medals. It was a gold and silver duo in the men's squash doubles final, which led to the team ticking past their previous record. Of course, England had a number of contestants placed in finals too, and they also guaranteed medals. As the diving gold and silver duo arrived for England, they were able to seal their record-breaking total of 176. England's MVP was Tom Dean, who collected 7 medals in swimming, including 6 silvers and a gold. Coming up, India's ace in hand. While England and Australia may be the top 2 teams in the competition, there were really impressive feats seen from all over the world during the Commonwealth Games of 2022. Birmingham saw host to some incredible individual performances, which raised the arena to its feet and reminded the world watching what the Commonwealth Games are really about: the collective love for sport. One example of such a performance is India's Sharath Kamal, a table tennis master. Kamal competed in all variations of table tennis events and brought home 3 gold medals for his country. What's even more impressive is the quality shown by him while achieving this feat, as he managed to effectively ease past his final opponent, even thinking of the celebrations while the match was still only halfway done. When asked about the final, he stated that even though the first few sets were tough, they became progressively easier, and Kamal found himself more and more in control of his destiny. Indian Sathyan Ganasegaran also provided a wonderful fight back to add another medal to his nation's growing tally. He won bronze in men's single as he fought off a potential comeback from English competitor Drinkhall. In his interview, he stated that this was a monumental amount of hard work for him and his team, and he is incredibly grateful for the win. There was stiff competition provided by Drinkhall as he was almost mounting an all-time comeback. However, with an 11-9 win in the final game, the Indian table tennis player fought off Drinkhall to add a 6th medal to his Commonwealth Games collection. With such a dominating performance in table tennis, it seems like India's ace in hand is this sport in particular, and with the talent coming through, we wouldn't be surprised if they continue their trajectory in table tennis. In awe-inspiring fashion, Singapore breaks a 20-year-long drought in an important event. As we've mentioned before, it's always an occasion when an upset occurs. For all the quality in the top nations, it often seems impossible for these massive nations to compete with the will, perseverance, and strength of lesser-fancied nations. One such thing happened when Singapore upset England to redeem themselves in history, achieving an incredible feat of finally winning gold in mixed doubles badminton after 20 years of not winning it. What's even more special is that they did this against the favorites. England were swept aside as Singapore's mixed double team took the second set 21-15 and landed the gold medal. Terry Waikehe and Jessica Tanway-Hai defeated their English rivals Marcus Ellis and Lauren Smith and forced them to receive silver for 2 consecutive Commonwealth Games. This story takes an even more surreal turn, as this monumental victory came on the eve of Singapore's Independence Day. The duo was struggling to put their emotions into words as they managed to finally make their country proud and celebrate their Independence Day in a way that their country deserves. Lastly, Canada wins gold in a momentous gala. Who doesn't love comebacks, eh? Don't we all? The Canadians sure love one too, as they came back 2-1 against Australia in the beach volleyball final. In a final which was a replay of the 2018 final, Canada met their old foes on the beach, hoping to retain the title and defend their crown as best beach volleyball team around. That's exactly what they ended up doing, as they proved Australia to be the inferior team in the finals. As the Aussies looked to right the wrongs of the 2018 finals, they took the first set lead, beating the defending champions 24-22. But the champs weren't to be struck down, as they came back to win 2 consecutive sets with the score of 21-17 and 15-12 respectively, ensuring that the Canadians go home as champions of beach volleyball once again. The duo celebrated like they should, dedicating the win to their loved ones back home. That's a wrap for this video. What did you think of Australia staking a claim for the best team in Commonwealth history as they received their 1000th gold medal? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.